So we see here in Mark 6, chapter, we're going to start in verse 1. It says, "And when Jesus went out from thence and came into his own country, and his disciples followed him." So we're going to read this verse. It says, "And when Jesus came out from thence and came into his own country, his disciples followed him." So Jesus had, in the last chapter, healed Jairus' daughter, and now Jesus is entering into his own country. You got to go back to chapter 5 to read about Jairus' daughter and Jesus healing her. But here he's moving on, and this Gospel of Mark is on the move. It moves fast from one event to the next. And he said, "And he went out from thence and came into his own country, and his disciples followed him." So let's stop here. What when it says in Jesus in his own country, where was Jesus from? Nazareth. That's what Jesus was from, Nazareth. So Jesus entered into Nazareth, him and his disciples. It says, "And when the Sabbath day was come, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many hearing him were astonished, saying, From whence has this man these things? And what wisdom is this which is given unto him, that even such mighty works are wrought by his hand?" So here we see it is the Sabbath day, and Jesus, he is in the synagogue healing people. And it says they were astonished. And we have to figure out who is these people saying. It says, "And when the Sabbath day was come, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many heard him were astonished, saying, From whence has this man these things, and what wisdom is this which is given unto him, and even such mighty works are wrought by his hand?" So this would require us going and doing some research and some study. But I'm guessing in the synagogue, it was the Jews at that time in the synagogue. And this is who was astonished at what Jesus was doing. And it says, from whence has this man these things? And what wisdom is this which is given unto him, that even such mighty works are wrought by his hand? So these people were astonished at what Jesus was doing. It says he was doing mighty works, this hand. And so here they remember Jesus. As you can see in verse 3, it says, "Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary, the brother of James and Joseph and Judah and Simon? And are not his sisters here with us?" And they were offended at him. So this can happen to anybody who believes in Jesus. You could be someone who is saved, but people have the tendency to first not accept the change to you, but they want to remember you from back when you were an unsaved person. People have the tendency to do this. There you see that happening in verse 3. It says, "Is not this the carpenter's son of Mary, the brother of James and Joseph and Judah and Simon, and are not his sisters here with us?" And they were offended. So what they're trying to do here is trying to discredit Jesus, what Jesus has been doing healing wise. They're trying to discredit this based on his past. That's what they're doing there in verse 3. So with that being said, it says, "But Jesus said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, but in his own country, and among his own kins, and in his own house." A prophet is not without honor. What Jesus is saying here is, in your own country, people will not honor you. They just will not accept who you are, the new you, the changed you. They will not do that. And that's what Jesus is saying here in verse 4. And verse 5 says, "And he could there do no mighty works, save that he laid his hand upon a few sick folks and healed them. And he marveled because of their unbelief, and he went round about the village teaching." So I'm going to stop there and just talk about this. Here Jesus is telling us that in our own country, people are not going to look at the change you, but people are going to look at who you were before you came to Christ, like they did to Jesus here. And with that being said, it will be hard and difficult to go back into your hometown and for people to respect you and respect the message. They will respect you, but the message that you're bringing, they will not accept it. Because you see these people here, they're talking, Jesus is healing. Jesus is doing great things. And their focus is not this the carpenter's son, Mary, the brother of James and Joseph and Judah and Simon? So that's the message. That's the message.